In 2023, an old suitcase discovered in a Los Angeles antique shop contained a handwritten diary that changed everything we thought we knew about Marilyn Monroe. But the most shocking part was the note on page 47. That diary wasn't just any diary. It was the key to Marilyn Monroe's deepest secrets, hidden for 40 years. Beverly Hills antique dealer Margaret Wilson still remembers her hands trembling when she opened that suitcase. There were perfume bottles, old photographs inside, but when I saw that small leather-bound notebook in the corner, Margaret's voice still cracks. But she had no idea yet that this diary would expose Hollywood's biggest scandal. The diary's first page was dated 1961, written in Marilyn's handwriting. "I met with Joe today. He told me something that, if it's true, my life is in danger." Experts confirmed the handwriting was authentic, but the real mystery lay hidden in the following pages. Dr. Sarah Matthews, handwriting analyst. This diary contains details that don't match Marilyn Monroe's known history. It's as if she was living a completely different life. What Marilyn wrote that night was explosive enough to shake Hollywood to its core. Page 12 contained a shocking confession. "They think nobody sees me, but I'm watching them all. The studio executives' secret meetings, their hidden deals. Everything's been recorded. Was Marilyn Monroe part of some kind of Hollywood spy network?" FBI archive specialist Robert Chen. There were many covert operations in 1960s Hollywood. For someone like Marilyn to have such detailed information. Chen doesn't finish his sentence, but the diary's most disturbing detail had yet to be discovered. July 20th, 1962. "Tonight, I'll speak with them for the last time. Either I'll stay silent or..." The sentence was left unfinished. This was just 3 weeks before Marilyn's death. Who was she going to speak with? What would she silence? On page 23 of the diary was a strange list. Names, dates, and numbers beside them. Cryptology experts are trying to decode these. "These could be phone numbers," says former CIA analyst James Miller. Or, at that moment, there was a knock at the door. Margaret Wilson had an unexpected visitor at her shop. The visitor identified himself as being from the Monroe Family Foundation. He wanted the diary back. "This is family property," said the mysterious man. But Margaret noticed something. The documents in his hand looked fake. "Marilyn Monroe has no known close relatives," says biographer Linda Harrison. So, who could want this diary so desperately? The encrypted note on page 31 of the diary would explain everything. Meeting with RK, we discussed the voice recordings from the White House. He knows that I know. Who was RK? History experts believe these initials could point to Robert Kennedy, John F. Kennedy's brother. But the diary's biggest bombshell was on page 38. "Dr. Monroe told me the truth today. I'm not just Norma Jean. I have another identity, and this identity is putting my life in danger." Was Marilyn Monroe living under a secret identity? There was nothing like this in Psychiatrist Dr. Ralph Greenson's notes, but the diary showed that Marilyn had been deceiving even her doctor during therapy sessions. "I can't tell him about my real life. It's too dangerous," she wrote. Investigative journalist David Thompson was shocked after analyzing the diary. "This isn't just a diary. This is a map of Hollywood's dark side. The phone number found on page 42 would change everything." That number was still active. When Thompson called, the voice that answered said, "We've been waiting for this call for 42 years. The voice belonged to an elderly woman. Marilyn told us about this day. The woman identified herself as Marilyn's real friend. "Everything in that diary is true," she said, "but the most important secret hasn't come out yet." What was the most important secret? The diary's final pages held the answer. August 5th, 1962. "I can't take it anymore. Tonight I'm telling the police everything. The voice recordings on tape, the photographs, the documents. Everything's in a safe place. If something happens to me, contact person X." Who was person X? The diary only said X, but the most shocking detail was hidden in a small note on the diary's back cover. "This diary was planned to be found after my death. If you're reading this, it means I succeeded. The truth is hidden in the wall of my Brentwood house." The Brentwood house had been demolished, replaced by another building, But during construction, workers found something strange: a metal box inside the wall. Tony Ramirez, the worker who found the box. There were tapes and photographs inside. Very strange stuff. We turned it over to police, but never heard about it again. Where were those tapes now? There was no such record in LAPD archives. They could be lost, says retired Detective Michael Clark, or someone made them disappear. The diary's final entry was chilling. They're trying to silence me, but I will speak, no matter the cost. But Marilyn couldn't speak that night, because she was found dead the next morning. Margaret Wilson started experiencing strange things after finding the diary. Black cars were parked outside my shop. Strange voices were coming through my phone. She had the diary analyzed by a former FBI agent. The agent's response was frightening. If these documents are real, they could disturb very powerful people. Be careful. Was the diary really Marilyn Monroe's? Experts said they were 97% certain. Paper analysis also showed the diary belonged to the 1960s. Ink tests pointed to the same period. But the most important evidence was the presence of private details in the diary that only Marilyn could have known. Dr. Greenson gave me the green pills, but I'm hiding them. This entry matched the autopsy reports. The drugs found in Marilyn's stomach corresponded exactly to this description. But the diary's most mysterious page remained unsolved. Page 55 was written entirely in code. Cryptology experts worked for months. When they finally decoded it, the content shocked everyone. They will kill me, but I'll be one step ahead. My real identity is safe. I'll live somewhere else under another name. Had Marilyn Monroe planned her own death? Or had she actually escaped? Biographer Susan Miller. This is an impossible claim, but the details in the diary are very clear. After 1962, there were reports of women resembling Marilyn Monroe being seen in various countries: Mexico, Italy, Switzerland, but none were ever verified. Where could the safe place mentioned in the diary be? There was another code: father's birthplace plus mother's favorite color plus my first film's number. Could the answer to this code reveal Marilyn's true fate? But the biggest surprise was hidden on the diary's last page. The final page seemed to be written after the diary was found. The date read, 2023, diary found. How was this possible? Handwriting analyst, Dr. Matthews couldn't hide her amazement. The ink on this page is much newer, but the handwriting is the same. How can this be explained? What was written on that page was even more mysterious. I succeeded. 61 years have passed. Now it's time to tell the truth. Call me. Phone number. A brave journalist called that number. The voice that answered was elderly but familiar. Hello, darling? You finally found me. The voice sounded very much like Marilyn Monroe, but this was impossible, wasn't it? I'm still alive, the voice said, and now I'm ready to tell everything. Was the real Marilyn Monroe still alive? Was this voice real? Or the voice, the mysterious woman, began telling details. That night in 1962, how she escaped, how she hid for 61 years. Every detail matched the notes in the diary. That night I told Dr. Greenson the truth. He helped me too. We planned my death, because I was really going to die, but at their hands. The woman said she was taken from the hospital in a white ambulance that night and taken to Mexico. For years I had plastic surgery. I changed my identity. I lived as Maria Rodriguez. But who could verify the truth of this story? The woman suggested a meeting. Let's meet at the site of my old house in Brentwood. I have things to show you. Journalist David Thompson, FBI, expert James Miller, and expert Dr. Matthews went to that place together. The woman really came. In her 80s, her face changed, but her eyes, those eyes looked very much like Marilyn Monroe's. I saved something for you, the woman said. She pulled out a metal box from the ground. Inside were old ID cards, photographs, and the original copy of Marilyn Monroe's death certificate. But this copy was different from the official records. The real death certificate isn't this one, the woman said. I didn't die that night. Someone else did. Thompson's hand was trembling. If this is true, History needs to be rewritten. The woman smiled. I am Marilyn Monroe, and I'm tired of hiding now. A DNA test was needed, but the woman refused. Let those who don't believe not believe. I've told the truth. In the following days, the woman disappeared. The only thing she left was a note written on the diary's last page. The truth is now free. If you're looking for me, look at the sky. I'm among the stars. Had Marilyn Monroe really emerged after 61 years? Or was this an expertly planned deception? The diary is still in Margaret Wilson's shop, but no one comes to see it anymore. It's as if everyone is afraid to learn the truth. The FBI refuses to comment on the diary. Hollywood's old studios are also silent. It's as if everyone is hiding something. Perhaps this is Marilyn Monroe's greatest achievement. Even 61 years later, she can still protect her secrets. Is that diary real? Was that woman really Marilyn Monroe? The answers to these questions may never be known. But one thing is certain, Marilyn Monroe's story still isn't over, even 61 years after her death. And maybe it never will be.